Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're taking a journey, but not to some far-off place. We're going inside to explore one of the most powerful forces that shapes our lives every single day, our emotions.
Think about it. They're like these invisible currents, right? They guide our decisions, they color our memories, and they're how we connect with each other. They can push us to do absolutely incredible things, but they can also challenge us in really profound ways. They literally shape our destiny.
So, what are they really? Where do they even come from? Well, to answer that, we've got to unravel this incredible scientific mystery that honestly has been puzzling thinkers for centuries.
All right, let's dive in.
For a long time, the central debate was this fundamental chicken or the egg question. Does a feeling cause a physical reaction, or is it the other way around? Do you run from a bear because you feel scared, or do you feel scared because your body is already running?
Okay, so how do we even begin to answer that? Well, two early schools of thought came up with totally competing ideas. First, you've got the James Lange theory, and this one made a pretty bold claim. It said your body reacts first. Your heart starts pounding, your palms get sweaty, and only then does your brain look at those signals and say, oh, I must be feeling an emotion. So you don't cry because you're sad, you feel sad because you're crying. But then the Cannon-Bard theory came along and said, hold on, that's not quite right. They argue that our physical reaction and our emotional feeling happen at the exact same time, like two separate but parallel tracks. But you know what? This whole debate was missing a really crucial piece of the puzzle. It turns out it wasn't just about the body or the brain acting on their own. A new theory came along and added a third absolutely vital ingredient to the mix: our thoughts. This is the Schachter-Singer two-factor theory, and it basically proposed that an emotion isn't just a simple reaction, it's an interpretation. So yeah, you get that physical response, your heart is pounding, but that sensation is kind of generic, right? So your brain acts like a detective. It quickly scans the environment for clues, sees the oncoming car, and slaps a cognitive label on it: danger. It's that combination, the physical arousal and the mental label, that creates the full experience we call fear. It's just a brilliant illustration of that powerful mind-body connection.
Okay, so if that's how emotions might be formed, then what are the core emotions that all of us share? What are, like, the primary colors of our inner world?
While the pioneering psychologist Paul Ekman did some absolutely groundbreaking research and found something pretty remarkable. It seems there are 6 basic, universal emotions. And what's wild is that no matter where you go in the world, a huge city or a remote tribe that's had no contact with the outside world, the facial expressions for these 6 feelings are instantly recognizable. That really suggests they're hardwired right into our biology, kind of like the fundamental building blocks of how we all feel.
But of course, our emotional world is way richer and more complex than just 6 feelings, right? I mean, what about things like optimism or guilt or remorse? So to capture all that nuance, another psychologist, Robert Plutchik, developed this really cool model that looks a lot like a color wheel. He called it the Wheel of Emotions.
And it works almost exactly like a color wheel, but for feelings. It's got 3 key dimensions. So first you have intensity. As you move toward the center of the wheel, the emotion gets stronger. Think of it like annoyance building into anger, which can then become full-blown rage. Second, you've got opposites. The emotions directly across from each other are polar opposites, like joy versus sadness. And third, and this is super cool, you have combinations. Just like you mix primary colors, you can mix primary emotions. Those spaces between the petals are feelings that are a blend of their neighbors. So, for example, Plutchik suggested that if you combine joy and trust, what you get is love.
Now, it's really important to remember that these emotions aren't just, abstract ideas on a wheel. Every single one of them, from total serenity to sheer terror, isn't just a state of mind. It triggers a whole cascade of very real, very physical changes inside your body.
And this all tends to happen in a 3-step process. So first up is cognition. Your brain sees and interprets something, let's say a snake. Then comes the emotion. You feel frightened. And finally, you get what's called conation. That feeling creates this powerful urge to do something, to run. It actually makes perfect sense when you think about it. The word emotion comes from the Latin emovere, which literally means to move or to stir up. And that urge to act, that move part, is fueled by a total storm of physical changes. Internally, your body's flooded with hormones like cortisol and dopamine, your heart rate just skyrockets, maybe your mouth goes totally dry. And then on the outside, your facial muscles tense up, your voice changes, and yeah, you might even get those classic goosebumps. Your entire body is basically mobilized by what you're feeling. Okay, so understanding this whole process, it's not just some fascinating science lesson. This is where the knowledge really becomes power. Because if you understand the how and why, that's the key to actually mastering your own emotions and really improving your life. What we're talking about here is what psychologists call emotional well-being. And it's really important to get this right. It's not about being happy 24/7. That's not realistic. It's about having the skills and the self-awareness to navigate the entire spectrum of your emotions, the good, the bad, all of it, without letting them completely overpower you. And the benefits of this? They're huge. When you work on your emotional well-being, you're just so much better equipped to handle whatever life throws at you. You can feel angry without lashing out, or you can experience sadness without it pulling you under. And that kind of self-regulation, it doesn't just feel better. It actually leads to better focus, more creativity, and way deeper, stronger connections with the people in your life.
And the really great news here is that this is a skill. It's something anyone can build. You can tackle it from a few angles. Physically, just getting some exercise releases those feel-good chemicals, endorphins, which are natural stress busters. Emotionally, things like practicing mindfulness can help you just observe your feelings without getting swept away by them. And socially, connecting with other people, helping someone out, that gives us a sense of purpose and belonging, which is just a powerful emotional anchor.
So let's zoom out. We've gone from those early debates about mind versus body all the way to these detailed maps of our inner world, and a really clear picture starts to emerge. Our emotions are not just these random forces that happen to us. No, they're a complex, dynamic interplay between our bodies, our thoughts, and our actions. And what that means, and this is the big takeaway, is that we actually have a say in how we experience them. And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most important insight of all. By understanding the mechanics of how our emotions work, we get the ability to work with them instead of just being ruled by them. The journey isn't about trying to control or suppress your feelings. It's about understanding them. So the real question we're left with isn't just, what are emotions? It's how will you choose to listen to yours?